Have you ever tried to visit a web page, only to be stopped in your tracks by a cold, unwelcoming message? Access denied. 403 forbidden. You do not have permission to view this page. These digital stop signs are a common part of our online experience. They are the website's way of telling you that you've reached a restricted area. Think of it like a private club with a bouncer at the door. If your name isn't on the list, you simply aren't getting in. This is a fundamental security feature. It's designed to protect sensitive information, keeping it safe from prying eyes and unauthorized individuals. These barriers are essential for safeguarding user data, company secrets, and administrative functions that keep the website running smoothly. Before we can understand how to bypass a locked door, we need to understand the layout of the building. In the world of websites, this means understanding domains and subdomains. Think of a main website address like example.com. This is the main domain, the equivalent of a large office building's primary address. Now, imagine that this large office building has different departments, each with its own specific function. The marketing team might be on one floor, the support team on another. To make navigation easier, you might label these sections like marketing.office.com or support.office.com. These are subdomains. For instance, a university might use students.university.edu for its student portal, library.university.edu for its library catalog, and mail.university.edu for its email service. From a security perspective, this separation is critical. The security rules applied to store.example.com might be much stricter than the rules applied to the public-facing blog.example.com. However, it's also where potential weaknesses can emerge. An attacker might find that while the front door is locked, a window was accidentally left open. However, for a security researcher or a malicious hacker, this message is not an end, but a beginning. It's a clue. It signals that something of interest lies behind that barrier. This is where a different mindset comes into play. Instead of accepting the rejection, the next question becomes, why was I denied access? And, is this access rule applied everywhere? The first step is always information gathering. The hacker needs a map of the target's digital territory. This involves discovering as many subdomains associated with the main domain as possible. Once they have a list of subdomains, the next step is to test the restricted path on each one. They will systematically try to access the same path on every subdomain they discovered. If the hacker finds a subdomain that allows access to the admin directory, they have successfully performed a subdomain bypass. The server configuration on that specific subdomain did not properly enforce the access rule. From there, they may be able to view sensitive information, escalate their privileges, or even take control of the entire website. Alright, let's walk through a simple example. Imagine there's a website called mycoolsite.com. The owner has a special administrative panel located at the /admin directory. This is where they write new blog posts, manage users, and update the site's content. Naturally, they don't want anyone else to access this panel, so they configure their main web server to block all public access. If you try to visit that URL, you're greeted with a 403 access denied message. However, before launching the website, the developer used a testing subdomain, dev.mycoolsite.com. To make their job easier, they set up this server with very loose security. After the main site went live, everyone forgot about the dev subdomain, and it was left running and connected to the internet with no password required for the admin area. A curious hacker discovers the dev subdomain using enumeration tools. They wonder if the same security rules apply here. They craft the URL dev.mycoolsite.com/admin, press enter, and to their surprise, the page loads. No access denied message. The full administrative panel is completely unprotected. From here, the damage could be immense. The hacker could deface the website, steal user data, or delete the entire site's content. Subdomain bypass vulnerabilities don't appear out of thin air. One of the most frequent mistakes is the forgotten asset problem. Companies often have sprawling digital footprints with tons of subdomains for testing, staging, and development. These environments are spun up quickly and then forgotten. They're not patched, not monitored, and definitely not secured with the same rigor as production systems. Another big pitfall is inconsistent access control implementation. This happens when security rules are set at the application level instead of at a network or server gateway level. A much better approach is to set the access control rule at a higher level, like on a reverse proxy or web application firewall that sits in front of all subdomains. Misconfigured reverse proxies are another common source of vulnerabilities. Their config files can get complex, and an admin might accidentally restrict rules to specific host headers. An attacker can bypass this by sending a request with a different host header. The proxy sees the different host, doesn't apply the blocking rule, and forwards the request to the backend server. Exploring subdomain bypasses is a path that has to be walked with extreme caution and a strong ethical compass. These techniques are a double-edged sword. In the hands of an ethical hacker, they're powerful tools for discovering vulnerabilities and helping companies strengthen their defenses. This work is always done with explicit permission. But in the hands of a malicious attacker, these same techniques are used for criminal purposes. Using a subdomain bypass without permission is not clever hacking. It's a crime with severe consequences. The distinction between ethical and unethical hacking comes down to one word: permission. Without it, you're crossing a clear legal and ethical line. For beginners eager to practice these skills, use platforms specifically designed for this purpose. Websites like Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, or Portswigger Web Security Academy offer safe, legal learning environments. If you ever stumble upon a potential vulnerability by accident, the ethical thing to do is responsible disclosure. Don't exploit it. Instead, privately report your findings to the company security team. By reporting responsibly, you're helping protect the company and its users, contributing positively to the security community. Remember, the goal is to build and protect, not to break and destroy. Protecting against subdomain bypasses comes down to good security hygiene. The first crucial step is keeping a complete and continuously updated inventory of all digital assets. You can't protect what you don't know you have. Regularly running subdomain enumeration tools on your own domains helps find forgotten or shadow IT assets. Second, centralize and standardize your security controls. Instead of applying access rules per application, implement them at a higher global level using WAFs or reverse proxies. This block once, protect everywhere approach ensures consistency and reduces the risk of misconfiguration leading to a bypass. Third, treat all environments with a security-first mindset. Development, testing, and staging environments should be just as secure as production. If they don't need public access, they should be firewalled off entirely or placed behind secure VPNs and authentication portals. Finally, embrace continuous security auditing. Regularly perform penetration tests and vulnerability scans on your entire infrastructure, not just the main website. Encourage responsible disclosure through bug bounty programs. This invites the global community of ethical hackers to help you find and fix weaknesses before criminals do. The journey through access-denied messages and subdomain bypasses reveals a fundamental truth about cybersecurity. Security is a system, and a system is only as strong as its weakest link. A formidable lock on the front door doesn't mean much if the back door is left wide open. In the digital world, subdomains often represent these numerous other doors. Understanding how these bypasses work encourages a more comprehensive and paranoid approach to security architecture. It pushes us to ask critical questions about our complete digital footprint. This proactive mindset is the difference between a resilient infrastructure and one that's vulnerable to simple but effective attacks. For users, this serves as a reminder that the digital world is complex. It highlights the importance of choosing services from companies committed to security and respecting digital boundaries. The constant battle between those who build defenses and those who try to circumvent them drives innovation and improvement. By learning from these techniques, we can build stronger, more secure digital fortresses. We can ensure that when a door is meant to be locked, it's truly locked from every possible angle. This turns the access-denied message from a fragile barrier into the reliable safeguard it's supposed to be, protecting our digital world for everyone.